This podcast is brought to you by The Healthy Hub.
I need a bad one like you. Yeah, you need a bad man like me.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Just to Kick It is a Blessing podcast. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in last season to listen with us. This is a brand new season, more energy, new guests, and more topics, And today I have a very good friend of mine in studio. I'm glad that this is the first episode of the year I'm doing, and that I'm doing it with him. So without further ado, I will let him introduce himself.
Morning, Tupac. First of all, I'm honored to be the debutant of this season. My name is Brian Muchene, and let's just say I belong in the youth category. And I was born and raised in an area called Uthiru Rodhimitu, which is in Dagoretti South, near a school called Dagoretti High School. Basically, to just give some background, I studied economics and business in the University of Exeter, which is in the UK. And I'm looking to run and fight for the Parliamentary seat in Dagoretti South this coming election on the 9th of August.
All right. Before we even dive deep into the conversation and everything, why MP? Why was that your first choice? Some people might have said MCA and something, but why MP?
Number one, I was being ambitious. I am being ambitious.
Yeah.
MP because number one, that's in the National Assembly, and we get to do lawmaking, which is something I've studied as well and something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And with an MP, you're responsible for a whole constituency, whereas for an MCA, which is a member of county assembly, you are entitled to a ward. So I wanted to basically reach out to a larger group and basically reach out to a bigger group.
Yeah. You said that you studied economics and what?
And management.
Yeah. What made you decide, or what motivated you to get into politics?
Well, ever since I was young, I had the desire to serve the community and influence people positively.
Yeah.
And in that area, I basically saw that people had issues with basic necessities, taking their children to school. They couldn't find school fees, access to, water, such things. And I thought to myself that if I enter politics, it happens to provide that platform to help such people, because you can allocate the resources, the economic resources, into helping these people. And basically, it's something that's a calling. That's the best way I can put it. It's a calling, and it's something that's in my blood, because I feel like when I go and talk to the constituents, when I go interact with them, when we sit down and figure out together how to solve certain problems, it's what makes me sleep well at night.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
You said you feel like it's something in your blood. Do you have any political history within your family?
Yes, my grandfather
was
J.J. Kamotho. So he was a politician. That's from my mother's side.
Yeah.
But other than that, no.
Okay, I don't know if you allow me to tell the guests this, but I actually went with you for one of your things, and I could see that interaction, and I could see how patient you have to be, and so through interacting with people, what would you say have been your key lessons?
Number one, you have to have a tender heart, but be as tough as nails, because you find all sorts of different people.
Yeah.
You find people that are aggressive and don't accommodate your thoughts.
Yeah.
You find people who are very patient with you as well, are open to listening to you. So from interacting with people, I've realized you need to be very patient. You have to be in check with your emotions. But I would say everyone basically, all their needs come down to the same thing. They all want the same thing. They want to be empowered. They want to have an opportunity to be independent and in control of their own lives. They just want an opportunity or a platform to be able to sustain their own lives. I think that's one of the things I've learned from interacting with the constituents of Dagoretti South.
Yeah. One thing you highlighted is empowerment. Yeah. And before even I get to empowerment, I want to ask you, how do we shift from that give society, that quick benefit, to a more sustainable or long-term, benefit?
I would say it starts with our interactions with them. Yes.
Yeah.
We've become accustomed to this campaigning forum whereby you give handouts and you try buy votes per se.
Yeah.
But for me, what I tell them is that I can't personally solve everyone's issues.
Yeah.
But what I can do is help them as, probably if they come together as a group, if they come together as a chama, that's the best way to help them. Help them as a society, not individually. And I think once we show them from the initial interactions that that's what it's about, then we can slowly move away from that tradition of the short-term thinking, the handouts, because sometimes just go and talk to them. You don't need to go talk to them and leave something. Those are the kind of things that make people more short. They have the short-term views of things.
Yeah.
So for me, just go talk to them, just listen to each other, and just explain to them what you can do and what you can't do. So I think we just need to move away from that politics whereby it's more of handouts, and move to more healthier conversations and interactions.
You've talked about empowerment as one of the things you're looking to do, yeah?
Yes.
Now that you've had the chance to travel around Dagoretti and you've grown there, yeah, what are two other transformational things, if you were elected, you'd bring to the people of Dagoretti?
Two other things.
Yeah.
Okay. When I look at it, there are two simple ways of impacting the society.
Yeah.
Number one is through development.
Yeah.
Development in terms of infrastructure. You'll find maybe some roads are very bad. So you can bring in new roads, tarmac roads, things like renovating schools, building schools, hospitals, clinics, and such things. That's one way. The second is what we've talked about, which is empowerment.
Yeah.
By empowerment, it means basically giving people an opportunity. For example, disbursement of bursaries.
Yeah.
That's empowering a child to go to school. You empower chamas by giving them maybe something for their table banking, for them maybe to start their business. So there's many ways of empowerment. The third is through presence, and I feel like this is something that's been neglected. If you've been elected to represent a certain constituency, for example, you need to be present, because otherwise, how are you serving the people if you're not even there to understand their problems? Because you get elected and you're there for 5 years. Some people never see you after you're elected. I've heard, those are some of the things that they complain about, that they've not seen their leader ever since elections. So I think presence is important. Not using middlemen, but actually going there by yourself, going to the ground and actually understanding the problems they're facing on a daily basis. So I think other than empowerment, presence is something that's very important.
Now that you've brought the aspect of presence, I had a conversation the other day with one of my colleagues in the office, and when we looked at why some politicians are very strong, was because of presence. Like they are actually in part of those communities.
Yes, be a part of the community. Yes.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I look at them. They resonate with the people around them. As much as they may seem east and west,
Yes.
the people still feel like this is our guy. Yeah. And I remember when I went with you, like they complain about not having the opportunity, to see someone, and it's the same everywhere, so I agree that presence is big, but I had never actually thought about that. So
Yes.
that's crazy. And I'd like to actually talk to you a bit about the youth, since you said you represent the youth, so what do you think, or what role do you think the youth play in this upcoming politics and the future of the country?
Okay. The youth are very important for 3 reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, they have the numbers.
Yeah.
We have the numbers. I think the youth constitute for about 70% of the population.
70.
They're about approximately. So we have the numbers. Number two, we have the unity. We know tribalism has been a very big issue in the history of Kenya.
Yeah.
But what I like about us, the youth, is that we no longer have that mindset about tribes and tribalism. We're one united group. And the third is technology. Now we're very accustomed to technology. So it's like people call it one global village, right?
Yeah.
So those 3 things make us very influential in terms of who our future leaders are and determining the future of our country.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 advantages that the youth have. And I think it's something that if the youth actually come together, I feel like that's the strongest weapon that the country has.
Bro, like there's one point you've brought out, is the fact of unity, and we need to be united in order to, to prosper. And when I look at it, is exactly what you said, like this, and I'll give a very good and blatant example that I think everyone will understand. When you look at unity, like these days, no one's really bothered about the tribe of the girl you date or anything, Before, back in the days, our parents' time, like it was a bit weird, But when you look at these days, like, like even like my mom was asking me the other day, these days you don't have any Kikuyu girlfriends or what? And I was like, me, I don't even know tribe, I just know you're Kenyan, yeah. So I agree with youth. We have unity, and we need to stop voting based on certain aspects and what someone is bringing forward to the table. And it brings me to my next question. What do you tell the people that say the youth are inexperienced?
That's a very good question, because personally my experience is so far on the ground, you find that the youth are underestimated, because people say, number one, we don't have the responsibility, we don't have the discipline, and those are the 2 major concerns that people have with the youth. But the youth are the most energetic. They are open, and they're open-minded to anything, which makes me feel like the youth being open to many things is one of the best ways to gain knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And to actually come up with good ideas, new ideas, be innovative. So that's what I can say. And even if you look at the history of Kenya, we look at someone like Tom Mboya.
Yeah.
Tom Mboya was one of the most promising leaders this country has ever had.
Yeah.
I think at the age of in his 20s, he was one of the people who was selected to go and talk in Martin Luther King's speech. So when you look at such things, it shows that let's not limit the youth because of their age. Let's not look at age. Let's look at what they're capable of doing. Yeah. That's the best message I can put out to the older generation.
Yeah. And what do you tell that young person out there saying my vote doesn't matter? How do you encourage that person to register to vote and to actually go out there to vote? Because when I look at also some of the numbers, there's a disparity between registered voters and the people that actually vote.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had a look at your constituency, and when I looked at the 2017 voters and the guys who actually went to vote, there was a huge disparity. So what do you tell those kind of people? Because those numbers were enough to influence the previous election?
Yes. What I would say is, number one, as I said, the youth have the numbers.
Yeah.
However, a few of them aren't registered, quite a few of them. The first thing is to get registered. And that one vote counts.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if, let's say there's 1 million voters, if you deduct one from that 1 million, it becomes a whole different number.
Yeah.
Right? It becomes 999,000, yeah?
Yeah.
999.
Yeah.
That was a bit confusing. So you see, it becomes that's a huge difference, right? And I usually tell the youth, because a lot of them, their issue is, I don't want to vote because either way, the leader that comes is, he's not going to do much for us. But what I say is, and I'm going to ask you this question. If you get hit by an ambulance,
Yeah.
what's going to take you to hospital? It's an ambulance, right? It's still an ambulance. The ambulance will hit you and it'll still take you to hospital. And that's what I tell the youth, that regardless of whether you vote or not,
Yeah.
you're still going to be led by someone who's going to influence your environment, right? So it's better to register and actually have a say in who you elect. Because either way, if you vote or you don't vote, someone will have to lead you. And you'd rather put that vote into someone you believe in. That's my message to the youth.
Did you, my next question is, did you vote in the previous election?
Yes.
And being honest, how I'm not going to ask you how you voted, but what influenced your voting? Because I know personally, I voted in the last election, yeah, and my voting was influenced by my parents, yeah, and that gives me two questions. How did you vote in the last election? No, not particular, but who influenced your voting, and how do we remove our parents from influencing our voting? Because you said youth are important, but even as a youth, there's a way that your vote is not per se influenced. It's not per se your own choice, but something that's influenced within your family. Yeah.
I would say, just like you, my parents really influenced me in voting.
Yeah.
My decisions, also my voting decisions, were influenced by them, but it was also, I also did my own research and put in my own thoughts into it.
Yeah.
However, I feel like my parents had a big part to play in it.
Yeah.
However, I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be them. We should now stay away from that culture and actually have our independent thoughts on who we should vote for. Yes.
Because I also, like, when I talk to some of my people, they're like, you can still feel that heavy influence on people's parents and family, encouraging them to vote. And I think it's time that the youth take time to actually read manifestos.
Yes.
Because I think in the last election, no cap, I read no one's manifesto. But bro, trust me, I was one of the first guys there to tick. So what do you say about reading manifestos? And have you had the chance to read previous ones? And what have you learned from that?
I would say same thing. I did not really focus on manifestos, yes?
Yeah.
Especially like for me, when I went to vote, you go take president, take
one suit. Unfortunately.
You take, governor, and then you go to also the member of parliament for your area, and you go down to the MCA.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't read all their manifestos. I just, you just go with what you feel like is best.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong way of voting. I feel like you should actually take time to read and hear what they say, what they believe in. Because, as you said, we are now, before at least, most people would vote for the party. They don't look at the individual.
Yeah, one suit.
One suit, as you said.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's moved away from that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure now people will be more focused on the manifestos and what the beliefs that their leaders are actually bringing in.
The individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. What's the problem of voting one suit?
Because number one suit, which basically means one party.
One party.
You don't really delve into what they're bringing in.
Yeah.
You just, because you sometimes people don't even know who the individual is, but because they belong into this party, I'll select this person. But you don't know what that person will bring in. You've never read his history. You don't know what kind of person he is, which is very dangerous in terms of choosing your leader.
Yeah.
That's the one disadvantage with just choosing the suit and not the person, because you can find that the right leader is probably somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you've not even taken time to look at him because he's in another party.
Yeah.
So we should now just look at the individual and leave the issues of the party.
Yeah, and now that we're talking about parties, I want to bring you into party politics. Can you just tell the people out there, like, why it's important not to vote one suit, and the riggedness and the toughness that goes around political party politics? You know, there's a difference between politics and party politics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, as I said, those are two different things.
Yeah.
Party politics is, it can get dirty.
Yeah.
It can get dirty.
Yeah.
And maybe the best representative or the best leader may not be the one who gets to the ballot. Yeah. And that's another reason we shouldn't focus on the party. That's what I believe in. Not to say that don't vote for anyone who's not in a party.
Yeah.
I mean, who's in a party. I mean, just look at the individual.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's still very early into the race, but do you see yourself joining a party?
For now, I think I usually tell people it's any government in power. For me, that means whoever is there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The issue of party isn't something that should matter for now. For now, the focus is me just spreading my name, making people know, letting people know who I am.
Yeah.
And as of now, I'm neutral. I'm entering as an independent for now.
That I think that's a good way to look at it. Back to when you first made your announcement. How was it when you first made your announcement that, you know, Brian Muchene was running for MP? How was that?
Wow, first of all, I'm not really someone who's active on social media.
Exactly.
Actually, I think that was my first post.
Well, it was
my first post.
Yeah.
So actually, before I made that announcement, I was just like, should I post this? Should I not? And immediately I posted it. The support was overwhelming.
Yeah.
I felt some sort of pressure.
Yeah.
But I was overwhelmed by the support from my friends, from my family, from everyone around me. Everyone was just giving me well wishes, offering support in any way that they can. And it really gave me confidence and a big boost to go ahead.
Yeah. And I think this is one thing that I've seen, that ever since you made your announcement, I've seen a lot of young people have, started making announcements. I think there's a girl, I think she was in a year below you in Aga Khan. I think she made an announcement to run for MCA. Yeah, so what do you think? Do you think we should take up more political seats as the youth in this coming election?
Yes, and not only political roles, just leadership roles. We should get into leadership roles now.
Yeah.
Because what I say is you need to start somewhere, right?
Yes, that's true.
And like in that post, I said we shouldn't be restricted by our age.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, I'm too young to do this.
Yeah.
It should be the actions you take now. The actions you take will bring you closer to where you want to be. And yes, I'm really happy that others decided to also take leadership roles. For example, she's called Tatiana. I saw she's running for MCA.
Yeah.
I wish her the best of luck in that.
Yeah, I also wish you the best in luck, Tatiana.
I also saw Malcolm is running as well.
Yeah, as
for
well.
MP as well.
Yeah.
I also wish him the best in that. And I think this is how we should inspire each other.
Yeah.
We should inspire each other to do better and to be courageous and to be fearless. Not fearless, because fearless means not having any fear in you. Everyone has fear in them.
Let's say ambitious.
And brave.
Yeah.
Ambitious and brave. I think that's what I want to do. I want to inspire others because I don't have the answers. I alone don't have the answers.
Yeah.
But I know if I inspire others, we can help each other to take our generation to the next level, to the next step, and rectify the mistakes of the previous generation.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow, that was powerful. That was powerful. And in fact, I was listening to the radio the other day as I was leaving the office, and there was a senator who's very young, who is actually running for senator, and some of the things he said made sense. And this is one of the things I want to ask you is, how is it we will get from the kind of just manufacturing raw products to having fully done products? I think I don't know, he was a senator for where, but he was saying they have so much bananas in the area, yet 3/4 of the population has never drunk banana juice because we're just sending it out there. So how do we move from just being a raw product country manufacturer to value addition?
Number one, I think that the manufacturing sector is something that hasn't been supported very well in our country. I think through lawmaking, we need to now come up with policies in which we can support that sector of manufacturing. Because now manufacturing is basically taking raw materials to become the finished product, right?
Yeah.
And also, we need to support us Kenyans. I've seen this thing that they say buy Kenya. It's called what?
Build Kenya. Buy Kenya, build Kenya,
right?
Yeah.
That is what we need to do. We need to support each other. When you go to the supermarket, just go try a Kenyan brand. You don't have to buy something from, that's outside the country. So I just think we need to support each other.
Yeah.
And implement policies that actually support the manufacturing sector in our country.
Yeah. So basically, as I come to the end of the conversation, I usually ask my guests 2 questions. This year I've switched up the questions a bit. So the first question is, if you're in my shoes, or if you're in my seat, what would you have asked yourself that I had failed to ask?
Wow. I think you've really exhausted a lot, but I think if I were you, I would ask, what's next after MP?
Yeah.
After member of parliament, what would be my next step?
And you get to answer it. So what's next? What's next?
Okay. For now, the goal is, because what I say is, you don't need to see the whole staircase.
Yes.
You just need to take the first step, right?
Read some quotes today, but but that's great. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, let me hit you with another one.
Yeah.
For example, it's at night, you're walking home and probably, let's say, the street lights aren't working.
Yeah.
You put on your torch, your flashlight from your phone. It's only going to shine the first 1 meter, right?
Yeah.
But you need to take that first step so you can see the next
1 meter.
1 meter.
Yeah.
And that's how you keep progressing and eventually you'll get to your objective. So for now, my objective is to just serve the people of Dagoretti South for 10 years. And they'll be the ones to decide if they'll want to uplift me to the next stage, be it senator, be it governor.
Yeah.
And from there, we'll see where the rest goes.
I like that you're actually very, very, very ambitious, and like you said, it's actually very powerful, we never start, a lot of us fail to start something because we're scared to take, that first step, like for me, I had the whole idea of what I wanted my podcast to look at. I still haven't reached there, but for a year, imagine I postponed recording it because I was like, I don't have this, I don't have that. And then I said, you know what, screw it, let me start recording on my phone. And now you see, once I took the first step, I saw this step.
Yes.
Once I've taken this step, I can see the other step coming close by. But, to the last question is, what do you think is the most important lesson you've learned? And how was your life before that? And now that you've learned it, how is your life?
Okay. Can I make it two things?
yeah, bro. Share as much as you can. You're here to share.
Okay. The first thing is always have your emotions in check.
Yeah.
Always be in control of your emotions. Always listen to people, hear what people have to say, always be calm. I think because we tend to make mistakes when we are not rational, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm saying we need to make sure that at all times we're in control of our emotions, because once you're in control of your emotions, you're in control of your actions.
Yeah.
And the second, and this applies to the youth especially, it's discipline.
Yeah.
And we need to realize that discipline is not motivation. Motivation is something that's short term, right?
Yeah.
You'll be motivated for maybe one day, and after that, you won't be able to continue what you want to do, right? But with discipline, it means even when you don't feel like doing something, you're still able to do it. And with discipline, that's where we'll get to where we want to be. Yes.
So you still haven't answered. So how's your life before that? You've said what the lesson was, but you still haven't answered. So let's go to the first one. The first one, you said emotion. So how's your life before learning that, and now how's your life after learning that?
I feel like now I'm at peace.
You're more rational with your decisions.
More rational, and I feel like I'm less stressed out.
Yeah.
Because I know how to, stay calm even in the event of chaos.
Yeah.
And especially this field of politics.
Wow.
Because trying to balance friends, family, politics, it's quite a tough thing. So I would say I feel much better
Yeah.
in terms of inside, being intrinsic. I feel much more at peace. And that's what I've learned. That's how my life is right now as compared to before. Before, I would find the smallest things stressing me, upsetting me. And I think that's the biggest change I've had.
And what about the discipline one? How's your life before you learned that? Discipline and motivation are very different. Yeah. And now how's your life after you've learned that?
Okay. Before,
Yeah.
I didn't succeed in everything I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I was bound to more motivation.
Yeah.
Sometimes just do work here and there, lose my motivation, slack off a bit. But once I got the discipline of actually doing things that I want to achieve, I feel like I'm more proud. Discipline is more of a long-term thing.
Yeah.
So you might not see the fruits immediately. But at least I feel like I've taken steps to where I want to be. Yes.
Yeah. And finally, actually, you've brought out something very important. How do you balance? You said sometimes because of what you're doing, you struggle to balance. So how do you find the balance between family, friends, and your constituents?
Okay. I would say, of course, family is number one.
Yeah.
No matter where I am, if I ever get a call from family, I have to, pick up and talk to them. So I feel like family, I'll always make time for family.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's happening.
Yeah.
When I ventured into politics, I found it quite difficult to now balance between friends and the politics.
Yeah.
Because I found myself being on the ground so much, trying to assist as many people as I can. And it's something I'm still learning how to balance. But I feel like just do everything at its own time.
Yeah.
Right? When I'm in the constituency, that's time for them, right? When I'm with my friends, then that's time for them. So I just feel like just do the right things at the right time.
Live in the moment.
Yes, live in the moment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if you have anything else to say, but
maybe what about you? Have you ever thought about entering any leadership roles, be it managerial in business, be it politics?
I thought about it. And considering where I work, I've learned a lot, but I personally do not think that I'm ready yet. But upcoming elections, inshallah. Let's see what God has planned.
Yes.
But yeah, for me, and like I said, I've learned a lot, and I'm here to support any young guy in any way that I can see, as long as our values intertwine. So for any young person out there looking to even, have a cup of tea or come to the office to sit and just hear my thoughts on, 1, 2, 3. I'm willing to share that. Yeah, because I've been working for an MP for about 2 years now. And him and just being in that position has taught me quite a lot. So yeah, but I know for sure in the upcoming future, I'll be ready. I'll be a bit more prepared.
Yes.
Yeah, but bro, thank you so much for taking your time to come and share with us. And we look forward to hearing from you. Probably once your campaign starts, we look forward to having you here.
Yes.
To sharing more about what you plan to do, your manifesto.
Yes.
And things like that. And we wish you all the best from us guys. And yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. And
All right.
thank you for hosting me.
It's been a pleasure. It's
Yes.
been my pleasure.
And I wish you all the best in your endeavors.
So, for you guys listening and watching from home, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to share this episode with you. See you next week. Goodbye.